Start streaming. Ooh. That's an ooh sound, everybody. It means that we've started Delve Live. Yay! It is the first. Woohoo! Indeed. It is the first Delve of a new year and a new decade. Well, not really a new decade. As many math nerds will tell you, it's not actually a new decade until next year because there's no year zero.
I don't know. I went from, the 2010s to the 2020s. That was 10 years of my life. So,
Yep. Yeah. The zero is really like an important number. Like I think it's mostly we should just agree on the idea that regardless of whether you want to be technical about it and all of that, is that when the number changes, that's a big thing. like the front number went from a 1 to a 2. That's a thing. That feels
right.
like the end of one era and the beginning of a new era. As some people have made note, 2020 is also the year that we all get a double crit. So that's good. Enjoy the double critical, everybody. In our line of business. And the year that you get perfect vision. Don't need to see the optometrist anymore. That's how years work. That's... Man. Too bad there wasn't a year zero. Then we could have 2019 vision. Alright. So... DC, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I am awake and and
Well, that's an
recovering.
improvement.
Yeah, and
Recovering.
recovering from what was kind of a, it's the holidays, so even when you don't have a lot to do, it feels like a lot. Um, and I was the stupid person who said I'm gonna do 3 different Christmas specials this year, which I did last year
Wow.
too, and yeah, it's not smart. It's not a smart thing to do. I would not recommend it for anyone. Folks, if I can give you one piece of advice for creators out there, try to stick to like one project. Don't go and do 50 other projects, and if you do end up doing those, you don't have to do a special for every single one of them. It's gonna drive you nuts. Trust me, I've experienced it several years in a row now. No, I insisted on doing the one for Delve and the one for Orbital and a video. I wanted to do one for the video series. So those were a thing. If anyone goes over to DelveCast.com, they're gonna be like the first things you see pretty much. Because then I took a little bit of a break because I'm like, you know what, I'm done for the year after I put those out. I'm done for the year, and into 2020, I'm kind of like, yeah, we'll get around to stuff. Let's just take a little bit of a breather now. See, the ironic part is though, this is the perfect time for me to like go heavy on content because nobody else is doing it. Shoot. I should have thought this out better. Maybe, like, next year, January is going to be, like, the month where we just do, like, just balls out to the wall content. Like, the biggest names and the biggest episodes. The most epic content will
The
be in
show every
January.
day. A marathon of DelveCast.
Yes, a marathon of DelveCast, and every episode even more epic than the last. 30 days, 30 podcasts, and 30 videos also released every single day. And there's going to be specials. And we're going to do live newscasts on the weekends. It's going to be amazing. And
The
then
content you never knew you needed.
yes, exactly. Well, the thing is that since a lot of people are on break, you're not competing against as many people putting out content, which doesn't normally matter, except algorithms exist. So so it kind of does. But I totally understand why people don't put stuff out in like January, because it's like, yeah, you probably did what I did and put out way too much stuff and in a crunch for the holidays. So there's a few things I did say that we would end up talking about. But I did say that I had a game. I don't know how much fun it is when there's just the two of us. There, but you know what? I guess it's as good a time as any to test it out, because there's several rounds, so we can explain it to them. But you can help me figure out the ins and outs of this. So what happened basically is I was watching an episode of Outside Xbox not too long ago, and they were doing this thing where they were trying to determine, if 2020, if the world ends, what was the game from this previous decade that they would go and they would save from that decade. And I thought that was a really interesting concept. And then there was another piece of news that had come through where Minecraft may be surpassing Tetris as the highest selling game of all time. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. But basically what it amounted to was I had this idea for a game that I decided through that inspiration I would call Save Berry Reboot. And the general idea, as I've worked out in the last 20 minutes, I've worked out the kinks in the last half hour, folks, is I was going to go through the top-selling games of each year, and we would just choose one that we wanted that we would save, one that we would bury, and one we would reboot. And the criteria for that is a game that you'd save is one that's basically perfect and should just be kept intact for future generations. It's just the way it is the way it is, and it should never be touched afterward. A game that should be buried is one that should just be forgotten, tossed in a landfill along with all the ET cartridges. And then the reboot is a game that was good but would really benefit from getting a makeover, getting a complete like new coat of paint on it, and what that would actually entail. So that's what we're gonna do, a little play in a little retrospectus of 2010 games. Everybody, we're going to be going through the 2010s to look at some of the biggest ones. Some of the ones that I probably won't mention, though, are some of the annualized series. One of the ones that like keeps coming up all the time are the Maddens and the NBAs, and I don't think we need to determine whether they should be rebooted or saved, because they're just, no one remembers if NFL 11 was any better than NFL 10. No one knows. No one knows. No one can. Someone does. There's James. If James was here, he would know what NFL game was the best NFL game. I feel it in my bones. But I wanted to list them and see which one was really worth preserving for the ages. And I started to realize, too, when I was going through it, that there are a few years, especially like 2015, where the top 10 games don't really even include some of the best games. It really doesn't. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Well, hello there.
Hey. Paul's here before we started the game. Oh,
which game are we starting?
Oh, I have a game for you, my friend.
It sounds terrible. I love it.
It's horrible. It's going to be a train wreck, and you get to be here for it. So, like I was telling DC, I got inspired from everybody talking about like the best games of the last 10 years, and which ones are worth preserving and everything, to do a little game called Save Berry Reboot. And
Oh wow.
yeah. And going through each year from 2010 through 2019, looking at the top selling games, like the top 10 selling games, and determining which one is worth like keeping intact for future generations just the way it is, which one goes in the landfill with the ET cartridges, and which one could really use a makeover, which one really deserves to get like remade in and would benefit from it. So that's the game. It's not a real.
It's a hell of a game.
It's not a real complex game.
No, but it's direct.
It is. And I'm gonna make it a little easier so that you don't have like just 3 games and you have to choose. I was just gonna tell you the 10 games for each year, and then you can just choose one that you want to reboot and one you want to save and one you want to bury. Basically, that's it. And the other ones are just meh. They just... and I may avoid, like, mentioning, like, the NBAs and the Maddens and everything. Well, I'll mention them, but I don't imagine that that I'm going to care one way or another. But I will tell you what they are.
I kind of want to save one just to show people, no, it's been the same for a century.
You know, that's probably accurate. It's gonna keep coming up, I can tell you that much. There's a lot that are very familiar. Call of Duty, it comes up quite a bit, and there's a lot of series you're gonna see throughout. But and like I was just mentioning, like 2015 is a hard one because there's a lot of games. Like even like The Witcher 3 came out in 2015. It's not even one of the top 10 selling games of 2015, which is
Jeez.
crazy. Yeah, there's like a lot of games from 2015 that were really good that didn't even get into the top 10. But anyway, we're gonna take it for a spin and see how this works.
Oh yeah, let's do this.
All right. Okay. So I'm getting these sales numbers from a wide variety of places. I basically went on Google, and the first news outlet that had a list is the one that I pretty much went with, as long as it was cohesive. The 2010 list actually comes from IGN. These were the top 10 combined platform sales games for 2010. Call of Duty Black Ops, of course. Madden NFL 11, Halo Reach, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Red Dead Redemption, Wii Fit Plus, Just Dance 2, another Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. There were 2 Call of Duties in 2010. Jesus. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and NBA 2K11. Okay. So that's what we're looking at right now. Let's start with the one you would most want to save out of that list, and I will make sure to pop it into Discord as well so that you can actually see what's going on. But let's see here. I'm realizing the easiest way to do that is to just take a screenshot. So I'm going to do that as long as my computer cooperates. And doesn't like time out on me. That would be really great too. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. It's one of those things where the computer really, really wants to do it. I know that it really wants to do it. But here we go. Yeah, there. Bam. There, uploading. There we go. Hey, look, modern technology. Okay. So there are your choices for the wonderful game. Here we go. I'm going to announce that we are indeed playing. Let's play Save Berry Reboot. Okay, so out of that list, thoughts on which one you'd want to save, which one goes in a dumpster, which one you'd want to reboot. Paul, what are you thinking?
That's tough. I'll just go with what I remember from that year that I enjoyed. What I've played from that year. I would save Reach, Halo Reach.
Okay.
Reboot Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. As that was the first Assassin's Creed game I ever played and actually got me to expand my idea of what a video game is.
Oh, Brotherhood was. Okay. Third installment. Okay.
And let's bury Just Dance 2. That deserves a burial.
That's fair.
Like the Maddens and the NFL, the Maddens, the NBAs, they're whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care enough about them to want to bury them.
Exactly. They're so meh. Like whatever. I don't care. Just Dance, I can bury.
Yeah. Okay. DC, any thoughts on any of those? Yeah.
I would save Red Dead Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. Reboot, Assassin's Creed. And then let's see here. Barry. Well, I can do without sports ball games. I don't need them.
The sports balls.
The sports balls. Yeah.
It's all that they make these days.
All the sports balls, yeah.
I mean, but like Wii Fit Plus and Just Dance 2, I can get in shape, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I liked Brotherhood a lot, but I kind of have to go with DC that Red Dead Redemption really has to be saved here.
That's fair.
In fact, I would say I could even say it's better than the second one. The second one was good, but the first one is...
I'm in agreement on that one, really. I like the first one more.
Yeah, I liked the first one more, and what was kind of disappointing for me is, even though I thought 2 was great, I give him credit for that, but I think they got really bogged down in the minutia. I felt like Rockstar got so they were trying to smell their own farts and see what the aroma was when they did, because there was a point where I was like, oh my god, guys, there's a level of detail where it is no longer immersive, it is just slow. I don't need to pick up every can, and I don't care if I just don't care that if I'm pointing with a gun, they're gonna run away, but if I'm not pointing with a gun with the same controls, it's like, no.
Or I don't care that my horse's balls shrink in real time.
Yeah. There's those things where you're just like,
why did you pay someone to program that?
Right. Why do I have to watch a skinning animation every single time when I've done this 50 times? Why do I have to manually drag a carcass around to my horse and then have the horse ride back to the camp, take it off of the horse, take it to the guy that's going to cook it? Why do I have to do that, guys? It's just too much stuff. Too many steps. Why do I have to walk 5 feet at a time when I get into camp? I just want to run in camp. Just let me run in the camp. But the original Red Dead Redemption had much more bare bones and really just focused specifically on the gameplay and the story, and I really appreciated that. And so, yeah, I would definitely want to save that. As far as burying goes,
That's the proper reaction.
I mean, Wii Fit. Only because I think this is the reason why. It's because I just don't think a lot of stuff from the Wii is gonna survive the modern era anyway, except the big game titles that really translate over. I don't see a lot of people in the future saying, oh, you know what we gotta pull out now? Wii Fit Plus. You know, it's not like that kind. Just Dance, I could see them doing that on a different platform, but Wii Fit Plus is like so specific to a system. I don't see that being worth saving. And as far as Reboot goes, ooh, I liked Brotherhood the way it was. Part of me just wants to reboot Call of Duty altogether. Part of me kind
of a lot more money and a lot more force.
Yeah. Halo Reach specifically, I did not play, so I can't really say. I guess I could see rebooting Brotherhood just because Brotherhood was really good, and I think it could use a modern treatment of the technology that Ubisoft put into the later games. If they just made Brotherhood, but then they used all of the new stuff that they've been able to add in, and were able to revamp the combat and everything, that would be interesting to see. If they did like a Resident Evil kind of thing, but for Brotherhood, that would be good.
I will revolt if I cannot throw my bastard sword at people. Though.
That was a great moment, yeah.
So fun.
Well, the thing that the modern Assassin's Creeds do better than like the Ezio era is traversal works a lot better now.
Oh yeah.
Way better. And even the one that was criminally underrated, I think, which was Syndicate. When they got to that point, Syndicate was
criminally underrated.
It's somewhat underrated. I can't say it's the best, but I really like it.
It's just a great pun.
Oh, yes. But they, where you could actually just lasso the tops of buildings to get around, I was like, that's awesome. I just want to do that from now on. But yeah, I could see Brotherhood getting some updates. I'd kind of want them to do it with the whole Ezio series, though.
Yeah.
But okay, so far that wasn't horrible. Let's see here. I'm actually gonna load the next one in when we're talking. about
thankfully there are good AAA games. That is a good thing that we have. On occasion, the top selling game is not a sports ball game.
Right. Well, and the funny thing, I wanted to try and be objective by just saying what are the top grossing games, because if I just said like what game from 2010 would you want to bury at like one, I can't remember exactly what all the games were, but I know that it would just be New Vegas.
That's fair.
The only game I remember from 2010 that came out in 2010 was New Vegas, and that gets saved. That gets saved. Everything else is kind of pointless. Okay, so 2011, this list is actually from Entertainment Weekly, and I'm going to pop it in here. So, what do we got? We've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, boy, and Call of Duty Black Ops on there, too.
Jesus. Wait, did they double dip?
Did they double dip?
They did!
Modern Warfare 3, and then Black Ops. It's like, I think they must have reissued Black Ops on another system, right? That must have been what it was. That was like during console flip over time. We've got Just Dance 3, Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, Battlefield 3, Portal 2, Batman Arkham City, Just Dance 2, Madden NFL 12, Gears of War 3. Oh, that's actually an interesting list. DC, I'm going to start with you for this one. Thoughts?
Who?
DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You cut out there.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see. I would definitely say Portal 2, as the Portal games are one of my favorite, series, along with Legend of Zelda. So anything Zelda and Portal is automatically going to be on that list. I'd say reboot Skyrim, but you can get it in so many versions as it is.
They kind of already rebooted Skyrim.
Yeah.
They rebooted Skyrim 50 times. So that's accurate. That's an accurate statement.
Maybe reboot Arkham City just so it's there, and
Yeah.
let's bury Just Dance 3, even though I defended Just Dance 2. I'm starting a war between them.
Yes.
Clearly, 2 was the superior.
I haven't even played it, so I am
Heretics in your Just Dance
Yeah.
3s.
I love that there's Just Dance 2 and 3 because they were still selling 2. They probably put it out at the end of the year. So we could just we'll just keep burying Just Dance. Paul, what are you thinking?
Oh, this is tough. You know what? I'm not gonna give Todd any more ideas. And I'm almost tempted to say bury Skyrim, but it's gonna come back. And
Yeah.
I don't need that kind of necromancy in my life. So I'm gonna say save Portal 2, 100% agreement on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually reboot Battlefield 3. That was a very, very fun game, and I wish they kind of went back to their old core of silly destruction and battle weirdness.
Yeah.
And who do we bury? You gotta bury Just Dance. It's the one here I can just say bury.
He's just.
I have to pick one.
Oh yeah, 2 or 3.
I have to pick one, don't I? I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna spread the love here.
Spread the love. We're gonna get rid
Or
of
hate,
just
whatever you want to call
the
it.
Just Dance series is going the way of the dodo tonight. We're making it happen.
It did a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous. Portal 2 is the one that has to get saved, because it doesn't need to get touched at all. Perfect the way it is. I feel like Skyrim should be one of them, but I can't. I honestly can't tell you that I'd ever want them to reboot it again. I think I'm done with the reboots, and I certainly don't want to bury it though. But so I guess Skyrim's just not part of this for me. I can probably bury Just Dance. And I didn't bury Just Dance 2 from the previous one, so I'll bury it now. Bye. And I'm gonna reboot Arkham City. I'd reboot Arkham City. I think the Batman games were good, but actually Arkham City was not the strongest entry for me. It's like Arkham Asylum had that wonderful claustrophobic feeling of like going around, almost had a Metroid kind of thing going on when you were going around Arkham Asylum. City, they opened it up a lot. And it felt a lot more like just a free roam, like sandbox. I think that they could reboot that franchise just in general to try and pull it back to what it was like in Asylum, where it really felt like you were in tight corridors and it felt a little bit more intimate and intense. Yeah.
A lot more threatening.
A lot more threatening, yeah. When they got to the, when they decided Rocksteady was like, yeah, we're just going to do a sandbox now, there weren't really those kinds of opportunities. And it's really around that time, I think, that I remember them doing more of what Dunkey would refer to as the artificial time wasters, where it's like, how do you open the grate? Oh, well, we've got to, like, individually, like, pull out each one of the screws like this instead of just popping the whole thing off and getting on with your life. We have to find 3 different codes around this one obelisk instead of just doing one and moving on. That was a lot more prevalent when they got to that one. So yeah, I could see. I'd like to see that Batman series come back, but I'd like to see it return more to the Metroidvania kind of style rather than the GTA open world system that they had. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Next up, and I certainly hope that this is the one that I wanted. We're gonna find out in a second. Is that a different list? It is a different list. Yay! The screenshots don't.
Madden 13 on it instead.
Yes, that's yes. So that is top selling games from 2012 according to VentureBeat. So I'm gonna assume that their numbers are correct. We've got Another Call of Duty game. We've got 2 more Call of Duty
Shocking.
games on.
We've got another Just Dance.
We've got another Just Dance. When did the Just Dances go away? Okay, so COD Blops 2, Madden NFL 13, Halo 4, Assassin's Creed 3, Just Dance 4, NBA 2K13, Borderlands 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes made it on here, and FIFA Soccer 13. Okay, Paul, what do you want to do?
This is. Okay, I'll do this. I'll save Borderlands 2 because that was very entertaining.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
mind it. I think that's the easy one. Give me my reboot of Assassin's Creed 3. Give me my better historical accuracy
Yeah.
and better treatment of Connor, who is the best assassin. Don't at me.
Oh, I would have to at you. That's the problem.
I loved Connor. I loved his moral challenges. I loved the ideas he had to fight with. I thought it was a bit more interesting than the third or fourth time we see Ezio killing people again.
I mean, Connor did have like 2 really solid facial expressions. He had
exactly.
at least
Give
2.
him more expressions.
He had
he
at
was
least 2.
Ezio had 3, and 2 of them were smug.
He pulled off smug real well.
Really did.
That's...
But it was like I loved Connor's story. I loved Assassin's Creed 3 enough to play it after the point they did the goddamn Boston Tea Party so freaking wrong.
That was so stupid.
I've been there. They do that, the whole, like, hey, throw it into the harbor thing in Boston.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows how it happened.
Yeah.
Why are you changing it?
Yeah, I think I would have liked a little bit better just fleshing out of the characters in general, because Washington kind of comes off as like
as a dope.
As a dope, and like I understand that we do romanticize a lot of these folks, but they weren't kind of bland characters. They, like, good or bad, they had a lot of, they had to have a lot of personality to get to where they were, and Washington kind of comes off as the most boring human being in history.
He just want to play bocce, and I'm sitting here going,
yeah.
How are you playing bocce in the middle of the street as the world's most famous general right now?
Yeah.
Talking to this random dude in white with nobody bothering or questioning.
Yeah, and Connor, like, criticizing him before they do that about, like, the mistakes that he made. Yeah, but I want to play bocce ball now. And
it had a lot of tonal problems. So give me a good reboot rewrite. Because I loved the setting. Yeah. I loved the whole idea. I liked Connor's challenges and how he had to do a lot of stuff he realized was the wrong thing, and there was no right answer.
Yeah.
Like, that was the other thing. There was no right answer. You knew exactly what was going to happen to Connor when he helped the Americans.
Yep. Yeah.
His people weren't going to make it out. That was the end result. And you just had to sit there and be like, is there a good option?
Yeah. The thing that you do kind of go into with the conceit of Assassin's Creed is you don't really have a lot of actual options in what you're going to be doing. Like, you just kind of assume, like, we're telling the story, and you're gonna go through it. Like, and
though, I will say they did a great job at making his dad the most unlikable, pompous ass.
Remember
every word he said? I'm just like, I'm gonna punch you. I want to punch you in your stupid face.
Remember, like, at the beginning of that, when you started wondering if you were playing Hatham? Because, like, the first couple hours, you actually play Hatham Kenway, and then they do that big thing where he was actually you've been playing through the start of the Templars in the New World.
Yep.
And I was kind of like going, wait, what are we doing here? that was really confusing for me.
Did Ubisoft pull a whodunit on us? The old switcheroo?
Yeah, the old switcheroony. And then when they get to a Black Flag, they switcheroony it again, and you find out you find out, oh, the grandfather was part of the
Was a pirate.
assassins. Yeah, it was a pirate, but
He-
also
he wasn't really part of the assassins. He was a pirate.
he was a pirate. Damn it. He's um.
But I'm distracting us. I
That's fine.
very.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting. You know what? Let's keep the tradition alive. Burying Just Dance.
Just Dance 4. Gone.
If we're burying Just Dance, we're burying Just
We're gonna,
Dance.
You know, if we're gonna bury Just Dance, let's just bury the whole franchise. I feel bad. Just Dance didn't do anything wrong to like, I feel bad.
I'd feel bad if I
never
wasn't
played you,
a
but you
terrible
gotta go.
person.
Yeah, I know. It's. I can't say I've played any of the Just Dances, which maybe is why I'm fine with burying them. I don't know.
I played one of them. They're
Yeah.
serviceable.
Yeah, I hate.
There's-
To,
I mean, it's why Guitar Hero and Rock Band are no longer around. You can only get so many songs into a game, into a yearly release,
Mm-hmm.
into a danceable format where you can copyright and it doesn't get ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. DC, what do you want to do?
All right. I'm going to kind of cop out and just agree with Paul because I think everything is.
That sounds.
I really don't have more to add than
Yeah.
than that to this list.
Yeah, Paul's pretty on the money here for me too because Borderlands 2 I still play. so,
Yeah,
so
that's a statement.
So I'm gonna save it. Everything he said about AC3 is accurate. And probably the one that deserves a reboot the best. I've played the HD reboot. But like an actual contextual one where they actually update the gameplay and everything, that would be nice to see. And yeah, Just Dance. I don't know why I have such a beef with Just Dance now, but you know, we're gonna go with this.
I'm sorry, creators of Just Dance, but you are the weakest link here.
I got bad news for you. Guess what shows up on the next list?
How?
Here we go.
Let's see if there's something that deserves burial better.
Oh, actually, I think there is. Your
I
list from GameSpot is GTA 5, Call of Duty Ghosts, Madden NFL 25. Oh, it must be the 25th anniversary. Battlefield 4, AC4 Black Flag, NBA 2K14, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Just Dance 2014, Minecraft, and Disney Infinity.
Okay, we have our burial.
Ah, we found one that deserves it more.
Okay, so here's the problem I have.
Yeah.
Minecraft and GTA 5 are still kicking.
They are. They
Yeah.
are. We don't need to save them. They have.
Yeah.
They have been saved by the population at large. Yeah. But you personally, what are you thinking?
My instincts save Assassin's Creed 4. That was a lovely, lovely time.
Yeah, Black Flag. Yeah.
I mean, I can still cry at Parting Glass because of that's. I got emotionally invested in these pirates, and now you're making me cry to a Parting Glass. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do we have here? Who do we obviously bury Disney Infinity, and who do we want to? Dang, that's a tough one.
It's a list. It's a list. It was a good year.
I'm just so torn. I have no idea what to do here.
Yeah.
Who do we reboot? I'll just... You know what? Let's get some mercy for the Just Dance series. Let's reboot them. They get the one. Everything else, buried.
They get rebooted this time.
You get one this time.
You get the reboot. Okay, cool. DC, any thoughts on that?
Let's see here. Well, Minecraft's already, we kind of saved via just being Minecraft.
Right.
Disney Infinity buried itself. So,
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Reboot, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Probably Assassin's Creed just to keep around, though I think it was a pretty good game as is. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is a tough one, actually. I guess I played my fair share of GTA 5, but it's like I don't have a much as much of a passion for it as maybe some other people do. Minecraft's fine. It's just not something that I play a lot. But I think out of all of them, I would probably want to save it for posterity. I'd want to save Minecraft anyway. The one I'm burying, yeah, Disney Infinity. That goes away. That was a bad idea. Don't do it. And I'm gonna agree with you, DC. I'm rebooting AC4. And the reason is I want to reboot it so I can take out the part with the sharks, and then I can actually finish the damn game.
Okay, that's fair.
Because they get to like that at the mixing up the medicines quest, and it's like, you're gonna go down in the bell jar. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Sorry. Been fun. Not playing anymore. I'm gonna do.
Raft is your nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raft is my nightmare. What's the other one where you're just depth? No. I'm not playing that game. I specifically played through like all of Odyssey, trying to specifically avoid going in the water because they put sharks in the water. And I succeeded. For the record, this is my Mitten Squad moment. Yes, you can play through Odyssey without encountering a shark. I know. I did it.
Did you ever encounter the shark in GTA 5?
You know what? No, because I didn't really go into the open water at all. But
Shocking.
Yeah. But you know what I did? You know what did happen though? I was on a jet ski one time when I was there, and I was just going through an inlet, and all of a sudden, like, there was like an enemy arrow on my screen that was like jutting back and forth, and it must have been under the water, and I could still target with my gun while it was going back and forth, so I could still shoot at it under the water, and it must have been one of the sharks. I couldn't see it.
You unknowingly faced your fear.
I unknowingly,
shot it in the face.
I apparently shot it in the face, yeah. That's the one thing that I do like about the new Assassin's Creed games, is that when you get into the water, you can still fight in the water. Like, you still have your whole move set. If you play, like, Origins and you're fighting a crocodile underwater, you can still hit it with your sword. Liberally. All the time. But
it deserves it.
Yeah, it certainly does. But yeah, if they were doing a Black Flag and they did it with that more open world setting where it felt like you could just kind of go everywhere, because I think it lends itself well to that. It's basically what they did with Odyssey. Maybe that's what Skull and Bones is going to end up being. Ubisoft's other project that's more like a seafaring open world game. So hey, if it is, maybe that's the reboot that I was looking for anyway. Okay.
Maybe we called it. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Okay, our next list is for, what are we up to, 2014? We're up to 2014.
Yeah.
And what an interesting list this is. Let's see, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Modern Warfare, Advanced Warfare. We're up to Advanced now. Madden NFL 15, Destiny, GTA 5, still one of the best-selling games, congratulations, Minecraft, Super Smash Bros., NBA 2K15, Watch Dogs, FIFA 15, Call of Duty Ghosts. Well, a lot of these were just still selling, apparently.
Wait,
Congratulations.
this is 15, 25. Okay, so this is 15.
Yeah, that was like the 25th anniversary, I think, of NFL.
Weird.
Yeah, it is.
I'm glad the NFL and NBA games are here for us to bury in case we need it.
Yeah, they're absolutely here. That's always the fun one. Which one do I want to bury the most? But assuming that we've kind of already dealt with some of these, what's new on here that we can actually look at? We got let's see, Destiny's new,
Destiny.
Super Smash is on here, Watch Dogs, Call of Duty Ghosts. So we got a few new players in here to play around with. Paul, what do you want to do?
Let's see here. I would. I'll do it quickly. I'm gonna do save Destiny, the original Destiny. Keep it around
To remind us
to remind us
that one day Destiny 2 might be as good as it.
exactly.
Yes.
Let's reboot Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
And I want to say bury Smash Bros, but no, I'll bury Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
That was that point where Ghost or Advanced Warfare, I really can't remember which one it was for me, where I just went, Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you trying that?
What was the one where the dog showed up?
Ghosts.
That was Ghosts? Okay, yeah, we can bury
That was Ghost, I
one.
believe.
That's the point where I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I just don't care. Okay, DC, thoughts on this one?
I don't have much experience with many of these games this time around. I would definitely save Super Smash Brothers because I had a ton of fun with that, and I don't really have an opinion on the rest because I didn't play them. So
That is,
we hadn't covered them already.
Yeah. Some of them we have covered. There's the ones that are new on this list that I have played. Well, Call of Duty Ghosts, which yeah, we can bury that. But let's see, Watch Dogs, Super Smash Brothers, and Destiny. I did play all those. I've already buried that one. Yeah, Watch Dogs is going to need a reboot. I mean, they're kind of doing that, but actually, Destiny as a series really could use a reboot. I would probably reboot Destiny because I feel like if Bungie comes back and tries to do a Destiny 3, they're probably better off just to like rebrand from the start and just do with different characters. just start new. And what am I saving? Yeah, I'll save Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, fine. I guess if I really have to. It's like I always like Super Smash Brothers, but I can't really say that it's the best of the franchise. That for me would probably be, I have not played Ultimate, but I think Melee was probably my favorite. And let's see here. I'm trying to find a list that makes sense for 2016. That's actually in this. Oh, GameSpot has one. Terrific. Thank you so much. Ooh. Well, this is actually an interesting list. Okay. Here we go. There are some others, but when they go to list them, they're like in this big long thing that I can't like upload very easily. So anyway, here's top 10 games for 2016. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Hey, we're into Infinite Warfare now. It's getting better.
Never ends.
Yeah, their naming conventions are amazing. Battlefield.
Just give it a title and okay.
We got Battlefield 1. We've got The Division, NBA 2K17, Madden NFL 17, GTA 5. Man, it just never died. Overwatch, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, FIFA 17, Final Fantasy 15. Okay, I'm gonna start with DC. DC, any thoughts on what you'd want to do for save?
Out of this, I would reboot Final Fantasy 15. I really like Final Fantasy, at least up to 9, and then I kind of lost interest, and I'm really excited for the Final Fantasy 7 reboot because that looks amazing, and the differences in the gameplay. Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it'll be like, but it seems pretty good so far. So I would like to Final Fantasy get another try. Otherwise, I don't really have an opinion on it because we're getting a lot of repeats now.
Yeah. We certainly are. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't tell me like the top 10 games that were released that year. I don't even know how I looked that up. Just the ones that apparently were selling so well that they just kept selling regardless. Paul, what do you want to do?
I feel like the easy one to say is Overwatch as a reboot because it's already happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say save Final Fantasy because it was an interesting divergence from their formula.
Yeah.
It was actually a fairly good game.
Oh yeah.
And then let's bury the Division.
Let's bury the Division. Okay.
It's just a mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I get why it's sold. I understand what happened. But I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. It's not their best work. I could definitely tell you that. Okay. Jeez. Yeah. So Final Fantasy 15 I think deserves to live. I don't think it got quite as much credit as it really should have, and its biggest problem was that it goes on for a really long time. There's a lot of stuff to do, but you might not necessarily care about the characters until like pretty much the end. But then once it gets to the end, it really made it feel like it was all worth it. So I think that it deserves the opportunity. Personally, what would I want to reboot out of those? I mean, I could reboot The Division, but I don't think there's much point in saving it, to be honest. Like, play Division 2. It's like, yeah, I get it, but, you know, Ubisoft is just going to do the Ubisoft game again and again and again. And I'm fine with it. It's a fine formula. But that's all it's going to be. I'm actually thinking maybe reboot Battlefield 1. I didn't really play Battlefield 1 very much. But I felt like it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting concept. I feel like it didn't really get a lot of time in the sun. It falls into one of those, like, oh, it's another one of the historic shooters that's coming out, and it didn't really have a lot of time. World War I feels like the kind of thing that's worth putting a little bit more attention on, because World War II is pretty crowded for shooters, and I feel like maybe they could have done that differently. Unfortunately, if they reboot it, they're going to end up calling it like Battlefield 2, and that's not going to make any sense. So, but I am
Battlefield: The Great War.
Battlefield: The Great War. I'm going to say it. No one's going to want me to, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm burying Overwatch.
That's fair. That is very fair.
I'm burying Overwatch. I don't care. I've played. I don't care. I'm sorry. Blizzard, you just really wanted to get in on the esports market. To me, that's what Overwatch is always just going to represent. It's Blizzard saying, we want to be in the esports market, i.e., we don't want to develop single-player gaming experiences anymore. And so, for that reason, we could just bury it. Please go away now. I get it. I don't care. Pretty much how I feel. All right. Let's see here. Next up is we're getting closer now. It's 2017 and we have a Grand Theft Auto 5 again. We can pretty much just assume that Grand Theft Auto 5 survived.
I want to bury it.
Now I feel like I want to bury it. Now I want to bury it. Top selling games for 2017 though were Call of Duty World War II, NBA 2K18, Destiny 2, Madden NFL 18, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Grand Theft Auto 5, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Star Wars Battlefront 2, oh well this is an easy one, Super Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart 8. Well, I know what I'm burying. That's not going to be hard. But anyway, what do you all think? Paul, what do you think?
You're right. You got it on. Clearly, we must save Star Wars Battlefront 2.
No.
Yeah, let's bury Battlefront 2 like EA's trying to. That was just so brilliantly. Like, the worst part is the game isn't terrible. It was just so wrong on so many levels, where it was a game designed by a marketing team and a financial group, not a game designed by a team of people who wanted to make a fun Star Wars.
I mean, that's fair. I think that the thing is, though, I played the single player, basically. The single player sucks. I'm gonna be honest with you. The single player is a buggy mess and not very entertaining anyway, and I cannot support it. Yeah, the biggest problem with it is that it will live in infamy for being the microtransaction predatory monetization fest that it was. And that's not a good look. It when you've created a game that is basically says, like, you would have to play this for thousands of hours to unlock a character, or you could just pay us money.
Yeah.
That's not a valid business model, and I think it really is the point that EA kind of broke and realized, oh yeah, I guess we can't get away with this forever.
Part of me wants to save it though, on the basis of, look at this this mistake, and remember.
Yeah, that we don't want to forget. It's the cautionary tale. You want to save it for the cautionary tale.
Yeah, I'll save it. I'll say that. I'll save it for this was a problem. This was a mistake, and we need to know that this happened. Mm-hmm. We can't brush it under the rug.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So if you're saving that, what are you burying instead?
I mean, I've got Call of Duty World War II right there.
Hey, look at that. And what's getting rebooted?
Part of me wants to say Destiny 2, because knows it needed it, but I will say Forsaken was a very good change. And what they did as they switched to free-to-play was a very good. Mm-hmm. They made a lot more things a lot more interesting, and just sit down and play Destiny. Feel. Oh god, it's so close to reboot any of these.
I know. I'm thinking more like a reboot down the road in the 2020s. Doesn't have to get rebooted right this second, but
yeah. I would say Odyssey, because I have the distinct feeling Nintendo's gonna abandon it.
Oh, really? Okay.
These kind of things don't last for Legend of Zelda. They tend to last for a few games, but Mario, like Super Super Mario Sunshine, and Mario 64. Like these pieces stay,
Right.
but
Right.
the big overall plots change.
Right. Right. Right.
I think it'll be interesting to see what they would do with more controls, better access to things, because that's one of the biggest things I know about Odyssey is it's a huge speedrunning community.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is something to behold. I'd love to say that I know a lot about. I have not played Breath of the Wild or Odyssey. So I feel a little bit um a little bit hindered in this round. But yeah, Odyssey. I wouldn't want to say I've seen enough of the gameplay of Odyssey where it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want them to just revamp it completely. I'd want to see them save it somehow. Um, but what DC? What do you think?
Well, since there's a Zelda title on it, that automatically gets a save from me, even though I haven't
Yes.
played this one yet.
It's a good one.
Super Mario Odyssey, and I've said this before, I got to try it at a friend's house, and it was just instant fun for me. So I really liked that game, even though I only played like the first level or something because I didn't want to ignore my friend for the
Right.
game. But he gave me the controllers, and it was like, yay, I need to stop now. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to visit.
Right.
um, and then, oh yeah, Barry Battlefront 2, because it's
Yeah, we're gonna bury it. Not even for historical record. Just get rid of it. Make it go away.
yeah, as fun as it looked. Then the loot boxes
Yeah.
came raining down upon our heads, and we
Yeah, that was. I mean, hey, that's good times, right? Like, I really love it when they do that. It's great. I'm so happy. Um. Oh, now I have to figure this out. Okay, I guess. Um. Hmm. For me, um, it's too easy to bury Battlefront 2. It's too easy to do that. I'm actually thinking I'm burying Ghost Recon Wildlands. I don't think they have to revisit that idea again for the Ghost Recon series. Uh, I I want to save. I'll probably save Odyssey. I would probably save Odyssey too. And I am gonna reboot. Oh, I could just reboot Battlefront 2, couldn't I? No. No.
Resurrected from the
I'm
grave.
gonna resurrect it from the grave. No, I don't. I think there's nothing you could do that would get rid of the stank of Battlefront 2. That ain't gonna help you. I'm gonna reboot. I'm gonna reboot Destiny 2. I feel like it doesn't have to be called Destiny 2, but I still think that the Destiny series really needs like a major overhaul. It could definitely afford it. Destiny 2 is kind of the lesson of that too, like the reason that they had to go free to play and all of that, and the problems that they had in its dev cycle. I always found that like I played it enough and I was like, oh, this is interesting. You know, I liked it. It was definitely better than like an Anthem or like how they did the loot system in that one. But I definitely was like, I kind of remember the original Destiny being more feature rich than this. And even after they added on to stuff, it still didn't have that. Like I remember I think it was Mika Burton who was talking about that, like, hey, they might have finally put enough new stuff into Destiny 2 to pay for that it has all the features of the original Destiny. Congratulations. And it's like, I can't really argue with you on that point. So yeah, Destiny could really go through a reboot. I'm going to stick with that. Okay. So let's see here. I have 2018. 2018 is an interesting year. we've got ourselves. Hey, look, GTA 5 isn't on it this time. Oh no. Here.
It's the other Rockstar property.
Yeah, exactly. Because what we got is Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, COD Ops 4, NBA 2K19, Madden NFL 19, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Marvel's Spider-Man, Far Cry 5, God of War, Monster Hunter World, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Boy, that is a list.
Okay.
That is a list.
There's a lot I'd want to save.
Yeah, there's a lot of good saves on there. Coming close now.
Just Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I want to see all those around.
Yeah. It's a hard one. But you have to save one from the burning building. Which one is he gonna?
Oh man.
There's a burning building with all the games in it, and you can only save the one. One of these 10.
First, we grab Just Dance and we throw it in, and then
we do a prisoner exchange. You take the Just Dances. We'll take more of them. So obviously we're saving NBA 2K19.
Greatest one, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely the best one here. So
I'm actually really curious if there's a passionate fan base depending on which Madden and NBA is yours.
yes.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
It's gotta be,
Which
right?
which Madden is the best Madden?
Yeah.
Which one you own personally? Like, no, this is where I plant my flag in the Madden franchise.
I think,
Anyone after that is wrong.
yeah, I think the problem that they got into though with those franchises was that if you look at it year to year, they don't change much. Like they really don't. They change the rosters, they update it, they might update the graphics and everything, but they don't do a ton to it. So it's hard for me to say like where I would say no after like Madden 2010. I can't go on to the new ones. This is the best stuff.
I can guarantee you it's all about the actual real life sports. Like, no, I'm not playing another game where the Patriots win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It has to be with this lineup from the Patriots. That's how it works. Deal with it. Yeah. So, Paul, you've got the burning building. You've got the burning building. Gotta save one, chuck one back into the fire, and build one up better than it was before, like the Bionic Man.
Alright, let's... This is difficult. But I will say... Okay, the Barry is easy. Barry Blops 4.
Okay.
That's Barry Blops 4. It wasn't needed. It was Call of Duty asking for you to pay $60 for their battle royale. I think that's what this one was.
Okay.
It's like, hey, pay $60 for our battle royale, and then pay us more the way all the other ones make money, because we want to make money too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Fortnite's not on this. I haven't seen it yet.
No, well, I don't even know if Fortnite technically has a lot of like. I don't know what they would do. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm looking at 2019 right now. I'm wondering if it actually shows up. Or if it's because there's no like physical copies that they
That's
can
probably it.
that they can or physical sales of the download, because it's always a free download. I think that's why it's not on there.
Who do we reboot? Who do we say?
I'd save Spider-Man. If I had
Spider-Man.
to just take one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Because they're gonna do it anyways. I'll reboot Monster.
Okay.
I have had a butt ton of fun in that, and I would love to see how they further refine that formula.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
basically what they do every time.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking my reboot is for Monster Hunter, because I did play it, and I could not get into it. It was one of those things, like, it felt, for me, the gameplay felt a little stilted, and I would have really liked to see the user interface and everything work out a little bit better. I wanted to be able to, like, could I switch up my equipment more on the fly than have to go back and do, like, could I do that in the field?
You can. You have to go back to one of the tents, but you can do it.
Yeah, it's the tent thing. I don't want to go back to the
Yeah.
damn tent. Could I, like, I guess I'm spoiled in the way of, like, I'm gonna take all my equipment out and then figure it out when I get there. Because I was like a newbie, like, I'm like, I don't know, these all play differently. I have no idea which ones are gonna work for me. And then ultimately, like, some big flying gulp monster comes down, spits acid in my face, and I'm like, and I'm sitting there, like, trying to reload my goddamn crossbow, and I'm like, I wanted to be better prepared than this. My
See,
damn
your first mistake was ranged.
Yeah, I guess so. Then my palico takes me on a leaf truck back to the tent, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this anymore. Giant ass bird.
I figured out I liked the hammer, and then I went, I'm gonna go smack some things' faces. It was pretty,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was also like, it's Dark Souls. There's an impossibly big thing to kill. I must kill it. Which one's my weapon? You're telling me I don't have a toothpick, but I have some, a femur? Let's go.
Yeah. I can feel you on that one.
Save between Spider-Man and God of War. I gotta save Spider-Man.
Gonna save Spider-Man. Okay.
God of War was good.
Mm.
God of War is very... I haven't played either of them. That's the real problem here.
Mm-hmm.
If I had played them, I might have a more distinct thing. But the fact that there's been so many Spider-Man games, and this is the first one since what was it, Spider-Man 2?
Oh, when Treyarch was doing it, yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
had those swing mechanics down where you could just go, whee!
Well, it's Insomniac. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just bound to be good.
I'll save that.
I don't think I have played an Insomniac game yet that I didn't like. I don't think I've played a single one that I didn't like. Even when it, like, was completely ridiculous, like Sunset Overdrive. I was still really enjoying it the entire time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I have not gotten a chance to play Spider-Man, so I can't actually say. What did I play on this list? That's fun. Let's see. I played Monster Hunter World, I played Odyssey, I played Far Cry 5, and I played Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, which one of those am I gonna bury? Well, I'm not burying Odyssey, and no, I'd reboot World. I already said I was gonna reboot World. Do I bury Far Cry 5? I don't want to, honestly, because I thought Far Cry 5 was actually one of the better installments. So I thought it was better than 4. Well, it was definitely better than Primal. Yeah, Far Cry 5 was fine. What am I burying on that list? This is where I use my outs. It's NBA 2K19. Because I think that was right around the time where it started to become more like a lottery.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it was in 2K19, but I feel like if I bury it now, then 2K20 won't exist. So I'm gonna preemptively do that.
There we go.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do that. And then, man. All right. So which one do I want to save the most? Damn
It's
it.
a tough one. It's a good year, apparently.
2018 was a good year. 2018 was a good year. I'm gonna save Red Dead 2. For all of its faults, it's also one of the most ambitious and well executed games I've played. It's big. It's long. It's probably longer than it really needed to be. An epilogue that also takes like 5 hours.
Ooh.
Just saying, folks. It's one of that was actually the thing that probably got me the most. For for that particular game was this idea of, hey, I played this great story, and I saw Arthur's story like from the beginning to the end, and it was a really interesting, epilogue shows up on screen, and I'm like, what? We're not over? I've been playing this for quite a while. There was a huge game in here, and then epilogue, and part 1. I'm like, wait, what? Epilogue part 1?
Don't do this to me.
What?
Don't do this to me, Rockstar.
What happened? What happened? And then it's like, okay, there's another like 5 hours of gameplay involved, and I'm like, okay. And it's not that it was bad. Like, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's just that man, I was like, it was nice to see. It was nice to see John as a playable character again. I was happy that happened, and I was glad that they kind of do something that was very romanticized if you've played the original, where it's like the endless summer part at the end of that, where you can just play John for as long as you ever wanted to, instead of playing his son. At the end of the original, you get to just be John Marston for the remainder, and he's built his place, and he kind of gets to live that dream that he kept wanting to get back to in the original game.
Yeah.
So for all of that, despite the flaws in the game, I would definitely want to save it. For 2019, I don't have a great list that I can just pop into the comments, because this particular one that has a pretty accurate list from Business Insider is doesn't have like it had to put pictures in between each and every one of the numbered things, so I don't have a way to do it. But I will list it into the comments so that you can see it. Let's see here. So, let's see. Ooh, actually, let me just see if I can try something real quick. I bet I can copy and paste. I bet I have copy-paste technology. We'll find out.
Probably.
What is this copy paste you speak of?
This is where I highlight. Okay, this is amazing new technology they got. Okay, you highlight words, then
With you so far.
Then you copy them, right, and you paste them into a thing. I know it's crazy. All right, this is not going to look great, but it does work kind of. So okay, your top 10. Anthem.
I was wondering when they'd show up.
Fallen Order, Super Smash Ultimate, Kingdom Hearts 3, Borderlands 3, Mortal Kombat 11, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, Madden NFL 20, NBA 2K20, Call of Duty Modern Warfare top-selling game. Borderlands 3 is in there too. So,
yeah, Modern Warfare was. I don't think I'm gonna say we're not allowed to reboot Modern Warfare because that is in itself a reboot.
Yep, that is disqualified, I think, from this particular discussion. But of the rest of them, what do you think, Paul?
Anthem reminds me of a Game of Thrones quote: "What is dead may never die."
And it is kind of the Greyjoy of BioWare's entire
Really?
line
Really though.
of products. It's like, okay, so the Mass Effect is what, the Starks, right? And the KOTOR is kind of the Lannisters, and there was a Targaryen in there somewhere. The Dragon Age. Dragon Age is the Targaryens.
Dragon Age. Oh,
Yeah,
Targaryens.
Dragon Age is the Targaryens. So, and then yeah, Anthem is definitely the Greyjoy of their franchises. Jade Empire, the Martells. But anyway, the Viper. Okay. So what would you like to save and bury in reboots from this last year?
Let's we gotta bury Anthem. Anthem has been dead and walking for too long. Let's bury it.
Yep. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Let's see. Even reboot. Oh,
I'd say Fallen Order just because I haven't finished it yet. So
yeah, I feel like Fallen Order, one, because Respawn doesn't really get enough credit for their the work that they've done in the past, but also because Fallen Order actually proved to EA that you can still make single player games without like a bunch of microtransactions, and it'll make money. If you take a good
mind
one.
blown.
A mind blown. Wait, we don't have to put microtransactions? Yeah. We'll still make money. Yeah. You will. And good on you for letting Respawn do it, because after you kind of screwed him over with the whole Titanfall thing. Anyway.
yeah.
Oh. Let's see here. What would you want to see a future reboot of? That's the thing I'm trying to.
My problem here is I haven't played Borderlands 3. I think that's going to be the one. My ruling was I've played through all the Borderlands with a friend, and I haven't gotten it yet because he hasn't had the ability to play it yet. And I'm just like, all right, when you are able to play it, we will play it together, and we will kill everything.
Yep, that's pretty much what Borderlands 3 is. What I will say, because I played through Borderlands, the whole thing, and as everyone's probably fully aware, after I did that very long and probably unnecessary video series, but it's a long game, y'all. Like, it's surprisingly long. I thought that it would be about the size of Borderlands 2, and then it just kept going and going, and there was, like, another planet. There was, like, another thing to do. And I was like, how long is this damn game? I level capped before I was through the regular playthrough. I was like, wow. And the level cap's 50. And at that point, I started to realize, oh, I probably did this wrong. I should have just waited on a lot of the side quests, because when you finish the game, you can start getting Guardian ranks too, and your experience counts towards that as well. So, something to consider when you go and play. You don't necessarily need to do all the side quests right away, because then the experience you get for that won't just count toward your regular leveling. It will also count toward your Guardian ranks. Didn't know. Didn't realize that was like how it worked, but yeah. So anyway, locking it down. Paul, what did we decide on for each one?
Save Fallen Order, bury Anthem finally, and let's reboot Kingdom Hearts 3. Less for the need and more for the how chaotic can this get?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. So DC, besides saving Fallen Order, do you have a particular preference of what you'd want to bury and reboot in this list?
Yeah, I think we've agreed on the bury.
Yeah.
let's see here. Reboot. No, there's nothing that stands out because I just want to save a few more and then
Yeah. Yeah.
haven't really played some and
Yeah. You could save 2 instead of yeah, I'm making the rules up as I go. You could save 2 instead of rebooting one of them.
I'll go with Super Smash Brothers Ultimate then.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I have not gotten a chance to play Ultimate, but that does feel like a game that never really needed a reboot because there's nowhere else they can go with it at a certain point. Ultimate.
Sometimes you just put everyone into one game and go nuts.
Yep, pretty much. What really shocked me actually about this, and maybe just because it came out very recently, you know what is not on here? Pokemon Sword and Shield is not on here.
Well,
And
I bet you that's because it came out in November and then it was for the Christmas sales. So the majority of it's still hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. This particular list too was in December 15th. So it's possible that it just hadn't picked up enough sales at that point. But I also feel like it probably didn't sell quite as well as some of the other, like, the portable games. I get a feeling that Let's Go Pikachu actually sold real well when it came out, but I don't know. There was a lot of mixed feelings about Sword and Shield. So, what am I gonna do? I mean, I don't feel like I even have to worry about burying Anthem really because, boy, BioWare did that for me.
I mean, BioWare. I think EA has enough money to keep it at least on life support, or just they're just zapping it with electricity every once in a while. So
you know what though? That actually makes me realize I am gonna bury Anthem because I want them to just just pull the plug, make it go away, stop bothering, because I feel like there's this whole thing that EA and BioWare are trying to do where they're like, no, we haven't given up on the game. Where there's a point where you just want to tell them, hey, look, all you're doing is giving a lot of people false hope to try and get them to keep buying into this game that you have no actual intention of doing anything realistic with. Like I understand the ideas that you're trying to put in here and try to do like the smaller places and everything, but it's not going to make the game fun. I don't see it being fun at the end of all of that. I kind of just want them to bury it so that they can move the hell on, and then maybe BioWare can just put more resources into the next Dragon Age game, and maybe a new Mass Effect that's not Andromeda. Like I liked Andromeda fine if you like a Mass Effect game to be an open world. You know, basically, if you wanted Mass Effect to be a Ubisoft game, that's Andromeda. And I was fine with that, but it wasn't nearly as fleshed out as you might want it to be for story and character and everything. But I would definitely rather they just put their attention into that or New Dragon Age than to bother dealing with more Anthem. What am I gonna... as far as saving... well, I'm gonna save Borderlands 3. Because I've played too much of it not to. I have to do that. My reboot is going to be... Yeah, it's going to be Kingdom Hearts. Played Kingdom Hearts at the beginning of the year when it came out. And I think the video I did for Kingdom Hearts 3 is I made it into a drinking game.
Oh, no.
And basically I was like, you take a drink every time they say heart.
Okay, how are you alive?
Yeah, exactly. And if you see that video, it's one of those things where I'm trying to keep a counter going through the video footage that I had taken. And I'm like, oh man, there's no way anybody could logistically play this if you were doing it for realsies. It's just, it ain't gonna work. By the time you get to the 100-acre woods, you're passed out. It's just not gonna work. Um, the thing that I thought about Kingdom Hearts 3 is though, like I played a lot of the first one. I didn't really play so much of the second one because there was this long thing where you're Roxas, and I was like, so am I just Roxas now? Is the whole thing with Sora not a thing anymore? And I think I bailed before Sora even showed up, because I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just like tooling around Twilight Town, and it doesn't feel like I'm really accomplishing anything. I don't even know where Donald and Goofy are. But I got to the third one, and the stuff in the gummy ship is cool, and the worlds are neat, but the story is the most convoluted thing I have ever heard in my life. It is the most insane. And I think I know what the problem was. In the first game, it's a lot more of the Disney stories, you know. And the Disney stories are pretty straightforward. And so you just go into the Disney worlds and doing all of that. But by the time you get to the third, it's very much a Square Enix story that just has Disney worlds involved. So when you go to each one of them and you're doing like this thing with Frozen and you're doing the stuff with Toy Story, you're experiencing those characters. Those characters are in it. But the story that you're living through is very much a Square Enix story. And the story that the characters are in are basically just ancillary. When you go to do the Tangled, it's basically just the Tangled story, but it's in the background, and it's just context for doing the Heartless and the Nobodies and all of this whole big long thing with all of these key holders and the dark spirits, and I was so lost. I was just so utterly lost. Kingdom Hearts really needs to get a full reboot just so I can understand what the hell the storyline is. That's basically what I want. But you know, honorable mentions. Fallen Order. I want to save just to prove to EA that you see how much money you pumped into Anthem, and but Fallen Order. Respawn gave you 2 big games this year. Respawn also just came out of nowhere and gave you a Fortnite killer for like a month. And you don't give them credit for that. And Outer Worlds actually is also not on this list, which I kind of find funny. But I think that may be hard to track too, because it was part of like Game Pass and things like that. So I don't know if they can track sales of that. But apparently it did pretty well, because they have announced that they are going to be doing some downloadable content for it. They're going to be doing DLC packs and maybe adding on to do other worlds. And I'm like, good. I would like to see that. I'm actually playing a little bit of Outer Worlds right now, but I'm playing what I like to refer to as the genocide run.
Shoot, kill, shoot, kill, shoot, kill.
Just shoot everything. It makes conversations way easier because you never have them. you just shoot everything. And I did find like there's some interesting interactions that happen in the entire thing. Like the first thing that happens is, you get to the landing site and there's these 2 officers that are just standing next to the landing pad. Shoot them before you ever talk to them, and then shoot all the marauders. And when I got off the ship, a guy just auto talks to me like the second I get off the ship, and his name is Ernest. And Ernest is like, "Oh, partner, how are you?" And I'm like, "I suck." I decided, like, not only am I just like a genocidal maniac in this run, but I went with super low intelligence, so I also get dumb conversation options, which is great. It's like, oh no, a talking wall. No, there's an intercom on the wall. There's some great ones. But
that sounds fun, and I think I have to try that now.
it's pretty great because then Ernest comes up and goes, "Whoo, wow! It looks like you had a little bit of altercation." Yeah, I killed them. And he's like, "Oh well, when you get to Edgewater, you might want to talk to the corporal there because she might have work." And it's like, "Yeah, thanks." He turns away. I shoot him, and then I go off to Edgewater. And you just start shooting people left and right. And I'm going to tell you this. It should not be entertaining.
That's a very specific word to use there.
It should not be fun to do that. And there are parts where you feel bad because then you also start to have to remember, oh God, I have to shoot all my normal crew members too.
Yep, you're solo here.
I'm solo. But you know what's interesting? You kind of not, because you actually cannot kill Sam. If you activate Sam, I tried. You can shoot Sam as much as you want. Sam will not die. And eventually I was like, you know what? Screw it. I got a murder robot to come with me. Now I got a murder robot with me. Sam's gonna help me.
Hey, are you down to shoot people? Yeah, I'm down to shoot people. Sweet.
Sam, you want to help me clean things up? Sam can clean. So, yeah. So that's always fun. But there's this part that I thought was so funny, is that if you go to Groundbreaker, and so like I've shot everything on Groundbreaker, and Gladys is supposed to be your contact, you go back to the ship, and you go to talk to Ada, and you're like, yeah, so Gladys is kind of dead. So what do we do now? And Ada just kind of goes, activating emergency protocol, whatever. Captain is a psychopath.
Oh, that's so good.
It's like accurate.
I mean, you're right, but damn.
Yeah, man, judge much. I did like the idea. The protocol is Captain is a psychopath. And when Wells is like behind the bulletproof glass and you're wondering why he's always he like even references like that, yeah, I don't want to end up like the people that were down there that you shot. Cause you never know when somebody might want to come and shoot you in your laboratory. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I would do that. I'm doing it, yeah.
He's like, I don't want to end up like Thompson and McDevitt. And it's like, oh.
Did you at least attempt shooting him?
Oh yeah, I tried shooting the glass like 20 times and then I gave up. I got his pig. His pig was wandering around the lab. I got that.
God damn it.
I don't know why. I was just like, I'm just pretty much going with if it moves, I shoot it. Let's see what happens. Just to see what happens. And then you start to realize that there's specific choices that they make in that game so that you can't end up like getting too shoehorned in. Like, oh no, that was an important person. Oh, but you can access the lab and get information off of a computer so that you're not totally screwed. But the things that really made me feel bad is like when I tried to do something nice and then realized that I had to completely renege on it immediately. There's like the point where I was on Monarch, and there's that character that's trapped behind in a closet because she doesn't want to come out because there's like marauders around. And so you're like, oh yeah, I have a key card to help you out. And you do that, and she like, oh, thanks. And you can go, yeah, it's not worth my trouble, and immediately attack her after you get her out of the
Thanks.
thing.
You're welcome. Bang.
Yeah. The guy that's like in the Groundbreaker, and he's like in the closet, and you can unlock the closet, and he's like, oh, thanks, bang. So I'm just moving on. I was like, I don't know why I'm even doing it now. I just kind of wanted to know what happened.
Now it's for the purpose of finishing the job.
Yeah, now
this
it's just
entire
like,
world must be purged.
this is just follow through now. It's just like, I'm
Listen,
gonna
I
finish.
started this, I committed to something, and I'm just gonna stick with it.
Yeah. Well, in New Vegas, when I originally was playing New Vegas, I did start a run that was sort of like that, which was just like, yeah, everyone's gonna get shot. And there's just a point where you just kind of go, yeah, I get it. You do get to a point where it's like, all right, I don't really know where this is going anymore. I'm not, like, I've now made every faction angry at me. Like, every faction has kill on sight orders for me now. I don't know how I did that. There are some really interesting things though. If you end up shooting McDevitt and Thompson in the first place in Emerald Vale, then it basically says, yeah, so Edgewater and the Botanical Gardens are both doomed now. So congratulations.
Yep.
But hey, here's something fun for you. And you go to your captain's quarters, and there's 2 unique pieces of equipment on an obsidian skull on your desk. And it's Thompson's hat, and in the skull's teeth is McDevitt's pruning shears as a weapon. That's what you get. And the quote that they give is, sometimes when you are given the choice, the best option is to shoot the people who gave you the choice in the first place.
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's, it gets dark. But, yeah, so, been doing that. Anyway, basically, it's if you asked yourself, what happens if I play Outer Worlds like it's Borderlands?
There you go.
Pretty much. Can you play it like Borderlands? Yes, you can. You can also play it like Splinter Cell, but I'm not as good as that. Yeah, I like Splinter Cell, but anyway,
Well, it is my time to leave.
it is your
I'm
time.
glad I can help you with this terrible, wonderful set of games.
Yes, yes. Thank you for being a contestant on Save Berry Reboot, a new game show that probably only has the one installment.
Woo!
Yay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you,
Bye.
Paul. Bye.
That was my enthusiastic audience, by the way.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That's
No,
as much as I can muster, really.
Yeah, that was. It felt like there were at least 2 of you. It was.
I know,
yeah,
right?
the two or three. It was pretty great.
It's all about theater of the mind, Nathan.
Oh
All
yes,
about
it's.
theater of the mind.
It sure is. I love theater of the mind. That's why we play games, because it's very much that. All right. So, what did I say that I was going to talk about anything else? I probably did. I said I was going to talk about The Witcher for a hot second, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had you have you seen the Witcher, the Netflix series?
I have.
Oh, okay. What did you think of it? I'm curious now.
I really liked it, other than the first episode, which was really slow, and I didn't know if I would get through it.
I see what
Like
you're
30
talking.
minutes in, I thought I had been watching for an hour already.
Okay. Okay.
But then I pressed through after that, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is better. This is better. And
Oh, it
then I'm
picks
like,
way up. Yeah.
hey, this is good.
Yeah.
This was actually a very nice season. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I was watching with my mom and my stepfather who know nothing about the Witcher franchise at all or what was going on. So I did realize, like, especially at the very beginning, I had to explain I would keep going, okay, so what's happening here is, so they're Witchers, and so they go through this process. Like, I realized I had to give them a little bit of context because the show wasn't really going to address it all immediately.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. Like, if you didn't have experience with the video game, what is your
Yeah.
experience with the show.
Yeah, I realized that they might
Because
get
it
a little
seemed
bit
like there
lost.
needed to be more like cliff notes to it in order to explain some things at the beginning there.
Cliff notes would have been incredibly handy, especially when it gets into like the stuff that was happening with Yennefer. And I knew like what happens to Yennefer at the end, and I knew like Triss, and when these characters showed up, I kind of had to say, oh no, this is going to be an important character. And when Ciri is in it, at the first, when Ciri shows up, if you have no context for The Witcher or the series at all, you're like, why are we concentrating so much on this blonde girl, like for such a big portion of the thing? And it's like, yeah, you have to. She's actually super important, and she's actually kind of the focal point for what Geralt's story ends up being, and it's kind of hard to explain what's going on here.
I think at the end they really do pay that off a little bit, just enough to keep you interested in that, and so that to me was really good.
Yeah.
The one thing my friend who watched it, who never really played The Witcher, is he didn't understand the potions they was taking, and I don't think they did a good job of explaining that. Like, well, you see, Witchers can get poisoned, but they get special abilities, but they don't really have a special effect showing you what the thing is really doing.
Yeah. It's definitely, there's a lot of fan service, I think it is a good way of putting it, because people who are familiar with the series will see a lot of nods to stuff in that. But yeah, I realized, like, I don't think they're going to understand why he's suddenly drinking a potion. But now, on the other hand, I was like, once you get through, like, the second episode, and Jaskier sings his legendary song now.
Oh, yeah, that's now everywhere and memed as much as Baby Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. You toss a coin to Baby Yoda, because you got to made a memed sandwich. Yeah, no, there's metal covers of it. It's awesome. Once he did that, I was like, oh, we're getting somewhere now.
Yeah.
This is going somewhere good.
I mean, it really did pick up. I was very happy that the Sea of Fantasy show that wasn't just sort of middling or average, but actually got really good. You know?
It did. Had great lines in it. I just, like, even in the first episode where he goes to, oh god, whoever the wizard is, and he's, that whole thing that he starts talking about, like, yeah, wrong is wrong. Like evil, whether it's lesser evil, better evil, or whatever, I prefer not to choose, like...
Right, it's still evil.
Yeah, it's still evil. I'd prefer not to make those decisions. Yeah. Those whole things. Not just a Witcher, a famous Witcher, and you hear Jaskier over in the corner go, "You're welcome." it's like there's some really great moments in that. Just all that point where you start to realize Geralt kind of made his own hell at the party. And he's like, yeah, the law of surprise. Yeah, I'll just do that. And then she gets sick, and you hear him go, fuck. And I'm like, oh, I get what just happened. Oh my goodness. Well, here we go, Geralt. This is your destiny. You can't outrun it. Sorry. But
and I appreciated how they did the jumping in time, because you actually had to think about it a little bit, like, okay, where are we? Why are we here? Oh, this happened before this or after this, or
yeah.
And I kind of appreciate it just wasn't quite as spoon-fed, if you will.
Yeah, that was actually something that was interesting for me, because you don't really experience it until like the fourth episode. Up until that point, for all intents, these were just running concurrent for me. Like I was like, oh, these events are just happening. And then when you get to that fourth episode and he's at the party, and these characters that you saw die in the first episode are now at the party before this, or you're like, wait, oh, and then you start to realize Yennefer's storyline is going on in a different time frame over like a longer period of time than either of those. And then once you start to wrap your head around that, then it's like, oh, okay, I get it. these other storylines have been going on for a long time, and we're closing in on Ciri's storyline, which is happening in the present. So I get that. now I get it. But I can totally understand where people who may not be paying very, very close attention would get incredibly lost. Like, wait, weren't they dead? Now why are they alive now? It's like, yeah, you guys, this happened before. We're in the before times. You gotta keep up with that. But the thing that I was really that I'm really excited about, though, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this all goes, is unlike a Game of Thrones, we actually know that there is a satisfying conclusion to this series.
Right.
like the thing that ultimately led to Game of Thrones' downfall is that there was no more pre-existing reference to what was happening in that world, and then they had to work it out afterward. With The Witcher, though, we already know that there's a satisfying narrative conclusion to this whole thing, so all they have to do is just do that. And
they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that.
Just to disappoint you.
No.
I mean, they are going to hear this and go, we need to disappoint this guy.
We need to subvert expectations now. God damn it. But the thing that I realized, though, is there's no lack of content in the Witcher franchise for them to pull from either, because if you ever get into those spots where it feels like, well, we can't jump so much in narrative over the course of these next 8 episodes, it's like, yeah, but there were all of these other quests where Geralt went on these really interesting side adventures that are like full episodes into and of themselves. Like, like the whole Bloody Baron storyline is 1 or 2 episodes of practically Shakespearean context to begin with, and that's real late in the storyline, and you know, when he's like in the storybook world and has to deal with the big bad wolf and the Grimm's fables and fairy tales, like there's a lot of really interesting stuff that they can work in as like standalone episodes too. So they got plenty of context and plenty of content to work from. Hopefully they know that and they go forward with it. But love the characterization. I like to see all of those characters on screen, and they were very personable. They were very interesting. Henry Cavill was actually, I thought Henry Cavill would be one of the weakest parts of the show, to be honest with you. And because I was like, oh, please tell me he's not gonna do like Batman v Superman acting. He's gonna do he's gonna be something. And then I was like, oh no, he does good as Geralt. He does really good. His kind of like sedate, almost like dour approach to him, but then also being like an action hero kind of thing works really well for that character. But yeah, Jaskier is one of my favorites, and Yennefer's storyline is still really engrossing. I liked how they explained magic too. I think that was really interesting when they were having mages.
that was good.
Yeah, because so many times, like when there's magic in a fantasy world, they don't really take the time to explain how magic operates. It's just there. And in this one, like that whole scene where they're raising the rock and they have the flowers, and if you're not holding onto the flowers, then you have to pay in energy. Your life energy has to come from somewhere, and they explain that. And that there are consequences if you're not willing to trade something for something. I was like, oh, see, that makes it feel like there's actually consequences to stuff you do. Like there's an actual payment that you have to make in order to utilize magic. And so that made it feel like it had better stakes. Now, overall, I was like, no, they set up the world really nicely, and I'll be interested to see what happens when you get into, if they had mentioned Kaer Morhen at one point, that he was going back, and I was like, oh, are the other Witchers there? Do we get to meet them? Or is he going to take Ciri back? Are we going to meet some of the other ones that are there? Is Vesemir around at this point? So now I'm really curious to see what happens in season 2. And,
yeah, because we only get to see that other one Witcher briefly.
Yeah, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
and man, and I started to realize that's the same guy that was Benjen Stark in Game of Thrones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's like, man, you are not catching any breaks here. You're just dying to monsters in a cold, unfortunate habitat all the time, aren't we? Man, your mythical powers never help you out enough. Man, the Witcher.
Someone has to pick up Sean Bean's slack. He's not going to be around forever. So.
Oh, yeah, no, Sean Bean's not going to be around forever. Man, Sean Bean should be a Witcher. I would watch that.
But then we all know he'll just die.
Yeah. Well, I think the interesting thing, though, too, is, like, if you're not familiar with the books, and I was not familiar with the books for Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark dies, you're like, oh, wow. And then you're kind of like, oh, wait, like, the people that read this 20 years ago are like, yeah, knew that was coming. It's like, so there are some things where it's like, yeah, I get it. If you've read the books or you're playing the games or anything, you probably know the general gist of where these characters go and what happens. The thing that I found out recently that I was like, wow, this is interesting, in gaming news more recently, is that The Witcher 3 is actually more popular right this minute than it was when it originally released. It has
that's amazing.
resurged. And it's like, I can totally understand it, because even I kind of feel like popping it back in and playing it a little bit. Because it was a very good game, and it does make me remember that, oh yeah, The Witcher is a fascinating world that they built. And much more of a high fantasy setting than a Game of Thrones, but still dark and still dangerous, and where like life and death are very much a razor's edge all the time, with really great storylines, and you get to see what happens with Ciri, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the series. But yeah, anyway. That was sort of the thing that just happened this last month that I was like, yeah, people are jonesing on The Witcher now, apparently.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good, because as I said, at least you don't have to worry about that whole thing where, like, in season 8, all of a sudden they don't know where the story goes. Like, we know where the story goes. We know how the story ends. If you're familiar with the games or anything, I know how the story ends. So if you just do that and don't screw around, it's gonna be good, and people are going to appreciate it. People are gonna like what happens. People are gonna appreciate the end of the story.
Right.
But yeah, they haven't
Let's
even
get going in a couple minutes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they kind of mentioned the Wild Hunt real quick, and I was like, ooh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Before you go, though, I should ask what you are currently playing.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, you are still playing that. Okay.
Yeah.
How far in are you right now?
I got my first skill point.
Okay.
So that far.
Okay. So it's a slow process.
Yeah, even though I'm on holiday break from things, I've been kind of busy with other things. So.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And then, Animal Crossing comes out in March, so I have
Oh.
until then.
I know. Well, hey, Cyberpunk comes out in a couple months, too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm kind of looking forward to that
Speaking of CD Projekt Red, yeah, that's a masterpiece in the making, so I'm going to be looking forward to that. It's going to be an interesting few months, but yeah, January, not a ton of stuff going on. But
yeah, I will be at, convention-wise, I will be at C2E2, and then at the end of February, and then at the end of March, I'm going to GaryCon.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, at some point, I'll have to look at conventions that I can actually go to. but probably going to have to be somewhere near the East Coast. Something I can actually travel to. I don't know what there is. The only thing that we really had gone to was like BFIG. But that's pretty easy to get to because it's just at Boston. But yeah, that's good. Where is Gary Con?
It's in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, home of
Oh,
Gary Gygax.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's originally where Dragon Con was held, right? It was at the
Yeah,
convention center or Gen Con.
Gen Con.
Gen Con, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Gen Con was originally held at that convention center, I think, when it started.
Yeah, Gen Con was in Wisconsin, that moved to Indiana.
Right. But it's not IndieCon now. It's still Gen Con,
Right.
even though Gen
Yep.
is Geneva. But at any rate, okay, cool. That's going to be fun. Do you know anybody else who's got? Well, actually, Gary Con's a big one, isn't it? Everyone goes to that one.
Yeah, I don't know how big it is, but
A lot of notable people go.
they had about yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people there from D&D,
Mhm.
from like Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I got my ticket, they had 2,000 tickets total, and I was number 800 some when I got mine. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's still a pretty sizable group.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, and so that's your February and March pretty much all taken care of.
Yep.
Fun times indeed.
I mean, Animal Crossing. And,
well, yes, Animal Crossing too. And modding
Tom Nook
500
places
sites.
me on- yeah, modding 500 sites.
Yeah.
But Tom Nook placed me on a timeshare island. There's
Yep.
maybe a smoke monster and a hatch. I don't know, but I get to craft on this island paradise. So
we're all just wondering, what will Star Wars Episode 10 be? I bet there's a smoke monster now. I did theorize about that. There was that whole thing that was going around Twitter about the JJ cut, release the JJ. Release the Abrams cut. And I had that whole thing of, like, in the Abrams cut, Rey walks into a church at the end and sees all of the people that died previously in the thing and realizes they've just been in space purgatory the entire time. Suddenly the Force Ghosts can find their peace. Then there's a lens flare. The end. Welcome to the Abrams cut. It's like, what did you think was gonna... I have not seen Rise of Skywalker yet, but I've watched enough spoiler videos because I honestly didn't care what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I was just kind of like, nah, just tell me what happens. I just want to know. I'll see it at
I
some
enjoyed
point.
the movie, so yeah.
I was mostly like, I was like, I really like Force Awakens and I really like Last Jedi, but for very different reasons. And if they weren't part of the same trilogy, if they were just like standalone movies that didn't have to be integrated together, I think they would have been better. But the problem is that if you're going to make a trilogy, those are really hard movies to both make sense in the same trilogy. like there's just very disparate tones and things, and I knew that was going to be the biggest
It had a
challenge.
lot to do.
Yeah. Lot of narrative and explanatory stuff that you were going to have to do to make any of it make sense. When in reality, like, Force Awakens by itself would have been fine, and Last Jedi by itself would have been fine, and maybe you didn't have to worry too much about making it all make sense. Just go and make another really entertaining film that brings a satisfying conclusion. But I know they want to try and wrap everything up and make it all make sense in the end. But man, task and a half to do that. It's like the first one, yeah, look at all the stuff that we set up, and the second one, no, screw it, you don't need any of that. This is what we're really talking about. Third one, oh crap. No, actually, it doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. I knew that was going to be a real challenge for them to do. But hopefully I'll see it.
I need to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you, DC. Have a good one.
See ya. Thanks again.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you. Bye. All right. And then it was just me, alone again, naturally. That was a song, by the way. We're going to be wrapping up very shortly. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank DC, and I want to thank Paul for stopping by, playing my stupid game. And, yeah, it's it's a fun little game that you can play yourself, but I probably wouldn't do it quite. I would have prepped better if I had really figured out what I wanted to do. See, originally what I had planned was we would just take we would just say what is a game that you'd want to save and which one you'd want to bury and which one you'd want to reboot from the last 10 years. But I realized that that's also that's not very structured. Because one, you don't really talk about games that are in each year that are like the big games from the year. And I also don't really remember every game that came out every year. But that if I tried to make it so that it was about like which ones were selling really well each year, it would kind of give a framework for what we could pick from. And then the other thing that I had thought of is if I just list a game, what's the top selling game of this year? and just say, would you want to kill that? Would you want to bury it? Would you want to save it? But I thought, no, given options, that's more interesting. And in terms of what I've been playing, though, I will just state on record that I have played a wide variety of games in recent days, and the ones that I have played that are probably standouts here are Untitled Goose Game. Yes, I did play it. It's 2 hours of fun, and then it's kind of like, I'm done. People love their memes. Anyway, so yeah, I did play Untitled Goose Game, but the one that I really think people should have given another look at after they're done with their goose memes is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I played that for a good long time, and great ode to Castlevania. And it is so much fun, and Miriam has a wide variety of skills, and you're always picking up new shards and everything. Very nice stuff. Really interesting gameplay. So, been playing that. That's always good to go back to. I'm trying to think if there was anything else really big that I've been playing right now. There was a new expansion for Borderlands 3. So there was Mad Moxie, Handsome Heist. Played through that. Has some interesting stuff in it. It does. It's Borderlands. It's Borderlands, but in a casino, basically. So that's fun. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there right now, and what I'm trying to do right this minute is play a wide variety of stuff, and then just randomly alternate back to games that I am familiar with, and try playing them in a little bit of a different way. But I do like to toy around with games that I'm not actually familiar with at all. Played a little bit of Jurassic World Evolution, which if you like city builders or park tycoon games, it's fine. But then, the fun atmosphere kind of goes away the second you see one of your predatory dinosaurs eat one of your park goers, and you're like, well, this got real fast. So I thank you so much again for everybody that came on. Thank you to everyone that has been with us this last year. December was jam-packed right at the end, and hopefully I'm going to be getting together with Alex in the very near future. We're going to try to do an episode where we talk a little bit about plans for the year, and probably in the next couple months too, because the next couple months are going to be a little bit shorter in terms of the amount of stuff that we're putting out. I might have alluded to that a little earlier in the episode. And the reason for that is mostly, and I mentioned this during the Christmas episode, is I just, man, I need to refocus a little bit myself, and this feels like as good a time as any to do that. So a little bit of a reduced schedule at the beginning of the year would be much appreciated, so that I can just do that and step back from what I'm normally doing all the time. So I would say, like, especially right now, probably looking like at having less episodes, like maybe every other week, for Delve. And I will continue to try and have an episode of Orbital at the end of the month. Because we still have to do the orbital time warp and everything, and I might get a couple videos in and out there. But I mean, it's just you're gonna see less content. Whether anybody really notices or not, I don't know. What I'd really like to do, and this is what I want to have an actual discussion with Alex on, who unfortunately couldn't be here. He told me earlier that he had forgotten about that this was the first Saturday, and he had already made plans for something that he had already postponed on. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll catch you again. That we're going to be able to come together and talk a little bit about future planning, because as you know, there were several other ideas for shows that we had talked about, and several other ideas of things that I'd really like to explore. And in order to do that, we can't also just be constantly doing the other projects. It's like if you're going to do these, like X, Y, and Z, you can't keep doing A, B, C. You know, there's only so much time and effort and energy. So it's, without getting too rambly about it, that's just something that we're going to have an episode about later in the month. And what I find more and more is that I really want to, like, work on projects that other people are doing more than work on my own stuff. Just because it feels like, well, at least I know I'm doing this in service of something that other people are really jazzed about, if that makes any sense. It's like, can I step outside my bubble and go see what other people's bubbles are like? I'd like to do that. So yeah, maybe I can get into some more of that. So we're gonna wrap up. But thank you if you have been joining us. I actually have not been checking the Twitch channel, only because we usually don't have anybody stop by, but I will check and see if there was any kind of comments going on in the chat room. I doubt that there are, but it's really not important. Thank you to everybody that has been with us as we start the 2020s. It's going to be a very interesting time. There are episodes that obviously I am going to want to do, and we've already been contacted by some folks who have stuff coming up. And the unfortunate thing is I kind of had to say, well, if it's something in January, probably not, just because I just, again, it would be great, right? Like if I said, hey, I'm gonna have to take like a break in January, and then it's like there's like 5 episodes in January because everybody's like, hey, Nathan, and so it's like some of those I had to like push back, and some of the comments that had come in, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just have to push that back a little bit and really take that time. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode. I hope everybody is having a lovely 2020 so far. I mean, we're only a few days in, but hopefully it's going well for you. It has been going well, all things considered. Nothing has broken irrevocably in the first 4 days of 2020, on my end at least. So there's a positive. And we will see you on the next Delve Live. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And I think I am going to have to do something with... I'm going to talk to some people, too, about possibly doing golf with your friends again. Just because there are new maps. I tried to get them excited for new maps in Golf with Your Friends. We will see. But until then, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us. Happy 2020, everybody. Bye.